Well, hey everybody, Pastor Rob here from South Lake Church, and how are we all doing today? As I just disconnected everything from, what's going on? Oh, you can hear me, Bets? Perfect, alright, good. So, with all that happening here, welcome to Discovering South Lake. I'm Pastor Rob Bailey, and we're going to look through and learn in the next couple of weeks about South Lake Church. What does it mean to be together? What does it mean that we continue to engage, grow, and share Jesus in our community relationships? As you can probably hear in the background, we got Bear there who's a little thirsty. So I'm so glad you guys can join us. We're going to be working through not just talking about South Lake, talking about who we are, but also reading Scripture. And the reason why we're doing this is because, you know what? As we discover together, we find out that, you know what, we're all a part of this. No matter what's happening, no matter what's going on, or distractions, we can be together and have this relationship with Jesus. So I love the fact that you're joining us right now, watching and being a part of as we discover South Lake together. So as we talk about South Lake and who we are, it's important to have the conversation of exactly what does it mean to be a part of South Lake. When we say South Lake, what does that mean? And for us, when we've all come together, it has to do with who we are. And let's take a look at what that looks like right here as we share exactly what does it mean to be a part of South Lake. Jesus is sharing with his disciples as he's about to leave with them. We're going to look through this together. That people will know you're my disciples because you will love one another. Loving each other, loving the community, being a part of this shows us that you are a part of this together. And as South Lake, that is a core of who we are together. And so that is why John 13 is part of our verse. Again, we're going to work through what does that actually have to say. You know what? Let's just do that right now. This here is John chapter 13. And what you can see here from John 13 is Jesus with his disciples. They just have what's called the Last Supper. They are together, and Jesus is letting them know that, hey, this is what it means to be together, what it looks like to be his disciples. And here at South Lake, the type of reading we use is called the NLT, New Living Translation. Any translation that you have that you're reading is a good translation to have. But the reason why we use this one, for example, is because this one here is just easier to read with one another and to share with others. And we use a Bible study called Immerse, which meets on Saturdays, as a way of reading the Bible with others. And this is the type of translation that we use. So as we look here at this translation, we see that Judas has just left the room, and the time has come for the Son of Man, this is Jesus speaking, to enter his glory. And God will be glorified because of him. And since God has received his glory because of the Son, he will give his own glory to the Son. And he will do this at once. Dear children, I'll be with you only a little longer. Now think about that as the disciples. That means my chicken's almost done. As the disciples are together, they've been with Jesus for over 3 years now. And all of a sudden they're finding out with Jesus that he's leaving. They've seen him talk with Pharisees, other teachers. People have tried to stone him, people have thrown him off the cliff. They've watched all this. And now here's Jesus saying, I'm only been with you a little bit longer. And as I told the Jewish leaders, you will search for me, but you can't come where I'm going. So I am going to give you a new commandment. So as Jesus is departing, saying goodbye to his disciples, he makes a point to say, I have one more thing to give you. And the cool part about this is the commandment, the rule, the law, that as Christians supersedes everything. Or another way, every law that has come before in the Bible points to what Jesus says right here. What's he say? Love each other, just as I've loved you. You should love each other. As a disciple of Jesus, we're supposed to love. Now why? Well, let's keep reading. For your love for one another will prove to the world that you are my disciples. The mark of a Christian is not knowing the Bible, quoting verses. The mark of a Christian is not being able to do certain signs or express it. It's to love others. That is what Jesus is telling his disciples. That, as Southlake, is a reminder for us. That's who we are to be. To love each other. The way that Jesus loved us, gave his life for us. So this is a reminder of this study right here of why we are what we are. So we turn back to who we are as Southlake. And that's a key point here as Southlake. We want to help people have a relationship with Jesus. And in fact, if I'm a burden towards that, then I'm a problem. If there's something we are doing as a church that are being a stumbling block from people knowing Jesus, then we're messing things up. The same reason why we talk about engage, grow, and share. The reasons why we meet together, why we meet on Sundays, why we serve our community, why we meet like last night, is so others can experience that relationship with Jesus. That's the heart of who we are as Southlake. The heart for you too, as you look at this. What does it say about your relationship with Jesus? You've probably noticed looking at that little piece right there. It's knowing Jesus, but also knowing others. It's two pieces. And that's very important. In fact, a great way to explain it and show it's right here. Fanboy. That's why this symbol is a great reminder how we need to focus on one another. That you individually having that relationship, being a student, learning, but then taking that faith and going out and sharing it with others too. When both these things are happening together, that is a disciple, that is a believer, that is a member of Southlake. Somebody who has a relationship with Jesus, but taking time to share it with others. Now, where exactly does that come from as you look at Scripture? Well, instead of going to John, I want us to join us for Mark chapter 12. Now, Mark chapter 12, Jesus is talking with a whole bunch of people, and a scribe, teacher, a smart person, one of them comes up and kind of challenges Jesus. So let's take a look. Again, this is in Mark chapter 12. One of the teachers of religious law was standing there listening to the debate. He realized that Jesus had answered well, so he asked, of all the commandments, which is important? Now, why is he doing that? So, this is a part of the gospel where we keep on reading how the teachers are trying to prove that Jesus either doesn't know what he's talking about, or he oversteps his bounds. And what this teacher is hoping to do is ask Jesus a comment is, of all the commandments, and for them that's 613. That's a lot. You might know about the 10 commandments. So there's another 603 besides the 10. Stands up and asks the question, which is most important? Why? Because as Jesus responds, there's a good chance he's going to tick off one of the groups. Maybe one of the liberal groups, maybe one of the conservative groups. Because how do you answer when there's 613, there's only one? So he asked the question. So let's read what Jesus says. Jesus replied, the most important commandment is this. Listen, O Israel, the Lord your God is one and only Lord. You must love the Lord your God with all your heart, all your soul, all your mind, and your strength. That's a really good answer. In fact, that comes from Deuteronomy chapter 6. So pretty much Jesus is using the Old Testament and making the point that it's something they've all known. And it's called the Great Shema. And it's calling out and saying, listen, O Lord, you are our God. And no matter what commandment, that's the commandment that's number one, is realize who you are, Lord. You are God. But Jesus doesn't stop there. He keeps on saying, the second is equally important. Love your neighbor as yourself. No other commandment is greater than these. So Jesus makes a point. I'm going to make an argument here with this, that it's pretty much similar to what we here are talking about at South Lake. The importance that you have a relationship with our Father in heaven. A relationship with Jesus. That is the number one thing of all things what it means to be part of South Lake, to be a Christian, is that. But second is go love and serve your neighbor. And these are the most important commandments. We do this together. So as South Lake, as we meet together, as we talk together, as we're a part of all these things, this is why this is the heart of who we are. Again, what else can I say? Then this is what Jesus told us to do, and why we as South Lake need to do this together. Now, if a lot of things that are going on and happening, it's a reminder how we all are here. And I hope today and tonight, as we've gone for a few moments here, we just spent some time looking at the why of South Lake. Relationships with Jesus. Why do we do this? Because he told his disciples to love one another. For they, the world, those who don't know who I am, will know who you are because you love one another. How do we do that? Well, at South Lake, we engage, grow, and share. And next week, we're going to talk more about what does it mean to engage? What does it mean to grow? What does it mean to share? But those three things, what we do with them is we meet together, we gather. For what purpose? Well, it goes back to our why. Relationships with Jesus. So that you, as somebody who is searching a part of South Lake, whether it be here online or in person together. Hey Mark, glad you can join us here. But being online together is a way for us as South Lake to help each other on this journey. But there's that other piece. So we can help others experience it too. Whether inviting them to a gathering to be a part of it, or helping, sharing, and serving in the community. This is who we are as South Lake. I am grateful that I get to be a part of this. Yes, as pastor. But also, guess part of the family. We are here together. And that's what's so exciting. And the other piece is watching how we all grow together. In the last few moments as we hear this evening, I can tell you with the different gatherings of what we do as South Lake, I have seen families and individuals grow in their faith, but then invite others to be a part of a faith too. In a sense, living this out. And if you're curious about learning more about how that's happened at South Lake, you can go to southlakelc.org. Click on our story. Click on our story, you can see different members of South Lake share their stories, their experiences of how they were impacted, both with their relationship with Jesus, but then how they also shared it with others. Some really cool things happening. Why? because I really believe this is the heart of who we are and what Southlake does. This is our why. And at Southlake, we engage, grow, and share. That's how we live this out. And what we do together is we gather together. And I hope this is an opportunity for you to check us out, whether Sundays at weekly worship, over at Immerse on Saturdays, Wednesday mornings over at Kelly's, or even as you join us online for these different events. Again, we're watching. If you have any comments or anything in the chat, we're going to talk about it, especially for the next few moments. But that's how we engage with one another. We grow by spending time together, whether it be P's and Q's or men's and women's gatherings, or just going out and hanging out with somebody, spending time. We grow together. And sharing is all about impacting the community. It's pretty cool things. Well, I thank you just for taking a few moments this evening as we've looked to how we discover Southlake together, and especially our why, who we are. And though we don't have a lot of comments right now, just checking the comments right now, each week we'll be online. And if you have comments or thoughts, you can write there in the Facebook chat. As you can see below, you can text. So that way, if you prefer to use your phone and just text us, on my mind, the 94,000. I'll be able to text you there, or you send an email. I just want to thank you so much for discovering Southlake with us tonight. I can't wait till next week as we talk about how we do this, how we engage, grow, and share. Hope you guys have a great evening, and thanks again for being a part of Discovering Southlake.